This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Comcast is delivering extraordinary experiences in live sports. Through the incredible broadcast and storytelling from NBC, innovative and personalized viewing features on Xfinity and Peacock, and the country's most reliable Wi-Fi, viewers can enjoy every game-changing play faster and more seamlessly than ever. All on a network built to deliver unforgettable moments as close to live as possible. The ultimate experience for the American sports fan. Learn more at ComcastCorporation.com/sports.
Hello there, Peabody here. And this is the Wayback Machine for traveling through time. And this is my boy, Sherman. Speak, Sherman.
Hello.
Good boy.
Live from Joe's mom's basement, it's the Stacking Benjamin Show. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and today it's all about you. We put out a call to action in our Facebook group asking for calls, and you did not disappoint. You guys had so many great questions that we can't even fit them all into one show. Especially that one call from Ned asking us if it's worth it to put a new set of tires on his go-kart, or that one from Mindy about what'll happen to her home's value if her partner installs an above-ground pool in the front yard. I don't even think we need to do that one. Anyway, but we've got a good idea. We've got a few other gems for you, and forget about using Scarlett Johansson as the voice of AI. We'll use our own AI bot named OG, and he'll do his best impression of a human life form and give you his thoughts. It's gonna be great. For our TikTok minute, it's wedding season, and one couple may have figured out how to profit from it. We'll discuss. And somewhere in there, I'll share some inebriating trivia. And now, two guys who already have their Crocs off and their feet in the pool, the Big D and G.
Just holding on to that for as long as you can, huh?
The Big D?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to see if it finally sticks. Been working on it for years.
I think we got 2 weeks of it now. I mean, we're doing pretty good with...
It's got a chance. You're telling me there's a chance.
It hasn't got cut out yet. Maybe it has. We're recording this early. Maybe the editors have already... cut it out. It's like, and now it's neighbor Doug, and it's like that weird voice that happens when they try to edit something on TV or something. Anyways, happy Wednesday. It's hump day. It's halfway through July.
Amazing.
Summer is half over. For those who go to school at the end of August, Labor Day time period, how's your summer going? It's half done. It's like you're on the other side of it at this point, I think.
Hope you haven't wasted it.
Yeah, they start school August like 14th or something. We're under 30 days away, and I've got a high school senior about to start. So,
but all of you guys south of the Mason-Dixon line, you were out of school in what, February or something like that? Your kids are done early.
Yeah, we were done before Memorial Day, the week before Memorial Day.
Wow.
But I know, you say south. My sister's kids go to school in Indianapolis, and they start August 1st and are out at the same time.
Really?
Don't throw dispersion. It might be just south of I-80. Maybe that's where it is.
Right. The new Mason-Dixon
Folks
line.
south of the Turnpike. That's an up north phrase, isn't it? The Turnpike.
The Turnpike? Yeah, I think of 90 as the Turnpike.
No, they have the Florida Turnpike. Yeah, Florida's got a turnpike, I guess, too. We just call it by the name of the highway, because the highways are all named.
Right.
Memorial, whatever, called the George Bush.
Oh, you don't use numbers?
75. Well, 75, yeah, 75. But some people call it North Central. 121 is Sam Rayburn. So it's like we sometimes
in the Detroit area, they're all dedicated to some famous person, a UAW leader or a mayor or something
senator
like that.
Or something, sure.
From way back when. And people are like, oh, traffic's bad on the Fisher Freeway. And I'm like, okay, that is not helpful. I have no idea. I grew up here. I have no idea what road you're talking about.
Fisher's been dead for 85 years. Right. There weren't roads when Fisher was around. He was the last buggy whip guy.
I think he invented roads.
And sometimes people will take the names and then put the in front of the numbers.
Oh, right. Sure.
So it's like the Fisher Freeway, whatever. And that's like the 75 or whatever. You're like, what? No, it's just.
You failed the test.
Yeah, I think so.
Now I'm not even listening to your directions.
Recalculating. Turn left now.
We are so far off the road on this one. You know what we're going to do today, OG, is it's an all call-in show. I can't wait for this.
Mailbox.
Because this is
a mailbox episode.
A voicemail episode.
Yeah. Voicemail. Sure.
No, those are two different things.
Should we vote on them to see who gets the t-shirt? Like Hunger Games?
Oh, I didn't even think about it. This is an expensive, spendy show for us.
Yeah, it is.
This is going to break the quarterly
lots
budget.
of credits. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. We'll take it out of your salary.
Okay. Look at the time. See ya. But here's, I'm going to reiterate this. I said this months ago. I had stated this as a requirement of getting your shirt. We need a picture of you in the shirt. At least the shirt out in public. Like if you don't want to show your face because you're like too hot and you don't want people DMing you like crazy. Okay, I get it. Oh, gee, your face was like, it's never been a problem for me.
I know.
But we need a picture of that shirt out in public. When you are a fan of a show.
So says the guy that used to have a bag on his head for advertising. Remember those days? I like it.
Yeah, it just show us, your t-shirt at the world's largest ball of twine or at your mechanics, whatever. But when you get a free t-shirt, we need to post that all over the world to say, look how cool our shirt looks.
Like in the
Kathmandu.
Yeah, in the alumni magazine where they hold the flag up.
Yes.
They're like, oh, look at us. We're Purdue alumni, and we've made it all the way to Chicago.
Right.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Or I'm a Texas A&M alumni. I made it to the bar.
I'm a Texas A&M coach, and I changed jobs overnight. Too soon, Aggies? Too soon?
So we're looking forward to that.
All right, well, let's get after this. Yeah, let's get after this. We have a busy show.
We've got so many calls. I think we just need to jump in, but have no fear. We are going to have our standard Wednesday TikTok minute, and I think you're going to love this one. But first, a word from our sponsor.
In business, there is no room for guesswork. Every shipment matters. Every deadline counts. And when you're trying to keep operations running smoothly, the last thing you need is uncertainty. That's why reliability is at the core of USPS Ground Advantage. From the moment your package is first scanned in, it moves through a secure nationwide network, aiding in a timely and accurate delivery. You get near real-time tracking so you can keep up with your shipments. And with affordable upfront pricing, there are no hidden fees or surprise surcharges to throw off your cost sheets. It all adds up to predictable deliveries you can depend on, because knowing your logistics are handled lets you focus on everything else, your customers, your team, and the future you're building. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to start shipping with confidence. USPS Ground Advantage. We mean business. I had a breakfast mentoring meeting yesterday with a young woman who was just amazing. She is graduating from college with a degree in wealth management, and she reached out hoping for some pointers. And listen, if somebody's in Texarkana and wants to go into this beautiful field of personal finance and helping people get their money together, that is incredible. But even more incredible is how she reached out, how she was trying to network. And I was having a discussion that finding the right person and avoiding the wrong person for a role, that's what can make or break an organization. And we just don't see that many qualified people. So how do you find them? Well, Indeed sponsored jobs is a boost whenever you need to find quality talent. If you're hiring, Indeed is all you need. You can stop struggling to get your job post even seen on other sites. You'll match with quality candidates with Indeed's sponsored jobs. Get matched with and hire quality candidates who can drive the results you need. Reach candidates who meet your specific criteria like skills, certifications, or location. It drives me crazy when I'm matched with all kinds of people who aren't a fit. I don't have that kind of time. People are finding quality hires on Indeed right now. In the minute I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed are 95% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all the boxes. Less stress, less time, more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored job. And here's what's cool, Stackers. You're going to get $75 in sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support Stacking Benjamins by saying you heard about Indeed right here at Stacking Benjamins. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring, do it the right way with Indeed.
OG, can't wait. Here we go. We are at the top of the hill of the roller coaster, and we are ready to just dive down into our first call.
Stretching.
It's
Stretching. Stretch out the hammies.
Did you just get another leg cramp?
No, I said I'm stretching.
Oh,
Get ready.
got it. Now you're doing Lamaze.
Pumped up. Let's do this.
Do it. Let's do that with Suzanne, who's got a question about savings bonds. Hit it.
Hey, Joe, OG, and Neighbor Doug. This is Suzanne. I have a question about the savings bonds, the Series EE. My children received a few $100s maybe in bonds when they were born. And that was 24, 22, and 20 years ago.
Wow.
What do they do with them now?
Oh, savings bonds, the gift that keeps on giving until it stops giving.
The gift that keeps on collecting dust.
And then it's the gift that you forget about. My parents were divorced when I was in my early 20s. We were cleaning up my mom's house, and she says, I have something for your father. You know how that's always that's how they address each other. Your mother.
That's right.
Your father. That sort of thing.
Just wait till your mother gets home.
Yeah. So she gave me this envelope, and I said, well, what is it? She goes, I don't know. It's for your dad. And so I opened it up. It's a savings bond that Philip Morris sent my dad for sending in packs of cigarettes. Do you remember? You probably don't know this.
There's a whole story behind that. I can't wait.
You collect bottle caps and you send them to Pepsi and get a free fighter jet. Well, Philip Morris had send in your cigarette packs, your empty
and
packs.
We'll give you a new set of lungs.
We'll send you $100 savings bond or whatever. So I sent it to him. He's like, what the hell is this? I said, it's a savings bond, Dad. You're rich.
That's fantastic. I love that story.
Yeah. Could you imagine if Juul was like, look, here's the thing. Send us your empty Juul cartridges and we'll send you money. Like, could you imagine the outrage right now? Like all the vape people like, no, I have to smoke this. Right. Otherwise I don't earn enough for my points. I got to get my points up.
I can't stop, Mom. I have to go earn my college money.
I know. As soon as I get done with this, I get $100 savings bond. So savings bonds are debt instruments. They are, if you're not familiar, you send the government some money and they send you a savings bond. And basically how it works is, let's say that you want to buy $100 savings bond, right? So the bond itself is worth $100. You pay $50 for it today. So it's the, July 2024 savings bond. It says 100 on it. It's got a picture of somebody on it and it says 100. But you pay $50 for it today.
Yeah.
And you go, well, that sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
I'm doubling my money. Yeah.
I'm doubling my money. Well, how that works is the government has figured out what kind of interest rate they have to pay you so that in X number of years, it becomes worth $100. And that ranges between 12 and 15, and sometimes as long as even 18 years before you get that face value of the bond. You can cash it out earlier, but you'll receive less than the face value. So if you bought it for 50 and a year from now, you're like, I'm going to cash it out. You probably just get $51.50, back. And then they have, different penalty times. You got to keep it for a certain amount of times. A lot of people are familiar with I bonds because they're kind of all the rage for a couple of years, and I bonds are face value. So, you buy $10,000 of I bonds, you have a $10,000 I bond that day, and they give interest on top of it. So savings bonds take a while to get to their face value. So in Suzanne's case, her kids' savings bonds are probably at the face value, so whatever it is. And then they continue to gain interest until about year 30. And it might not even be about year 30. It might just be year 30.
Capped.
And then after that,
Nothing.
done. You're out. We had a client one time that, dad had passed away. She was whatever in charge of trying to settle the estate and came in with an envelope full of savings bonds that were in her parents, dad's parents' names from like war bonds back in the 40s.
Wow,
And
like
I'm
the
like,
Civil War.
Not quite that old, but World War II. And I was like, these things stopped paying interest in the 70s and it's now 2006. Like it's still worth something, right? And when the other thing that's really interesting is the savings bonds tend to feature prominent people of the era. So it's like, JFK's on the $500 savings bond or whatever. So who is on savings bonds in the 1940s?
Humphrey Bogart.
It's kind of crazy to look through. You're like, yeah, it was just like weird, different people. But anyways, the way that you can evaluate these is you can go to the Treasury Direct website. So it's treasurydirect.gov and you can put in the serial number. And if you don't want to put the serial number in there, you can put in the issue date and the face amount, and it will tell you what the interest rate is on that bond based on when it was purchased and how much interest it's paying every single month and when the maximum time is. And based on that, you can kind of decide. There are some savings bonds out there that are paying 6-7% because they were purchased, in a high interest rate time period. If you've a 20-year-old, they were purchased in 2004, 2005, 2002, a little higher interest rates environment. It wasn't the bottom like maybe 2013, 2015 was. So you may look at that and say, well, this is $100 that is guaranteed to pay 6.5% interest. I'll keep that money for a while. You may also look at it and say, this $100 is not worth trying to keep track of this piece of paper. In which case, you can take it to the bank, cash it in at the bank. It's a giant pain in the butt process.
Actually talk about that a little bit, because I think a lot of people don't know that it can be a little bit challenging to cash those in.
Well, it just is. You got to find the right bank that can process it and the right temperament of the teller who wants to help you process it. Nowadays, if you're buying a savings bond, I worked at a bank in the 90s. I remember
you were not
it was
the right
somebody would come in
teller,
like
were you?
stack and you're like,
you were never the right teller for them to approach.
Yeah. My first day at the bank, I lost money. I miscounted the drawer. I thought I was fired. Basically, I put money in instead of taking money out one customer. They were excited. The bank, not so much. But anyways, you have to go to the bank. You take it in. You have, fill out ID and that sort of thing. You cash it in. Nowadays, if you're buying savings bond, you just do it all online. Just set up an account. Nobody has an iBond paper. They have an iBond account, and you can do all of those, in that account now. They may have a way. Honestly, I haven't looked this up. They may have a way for you to basically transfer your paper bonds to an online account. You could look that up on the Treasury Direct website too. But if it's a small amount, probably it's a $50 bond. Great Aunt Alice, here's your christening gift. It's $50 bond, probably just cash it out.
Yeah.
Go hog wild at the Sonic.
I remember
That's about what it gets you.
Yeah. I don't know. I had a stack of them from, who knows, elementary school through high school. And after college, my mom's like, you forgot about these. And I was getting ready to move overseas and I needed all the money I could gather. And so I got kind of excited to I still remember walking into the bank with them. And all I knew about it was they continue to accumulate even beyond the face value.
The doubling.
Yeah, the doubling. And so, but she couldn't tell me. My mom didn't know how much they kept, but I'm thinking, I've got thousands of dollars here. Yeah, it was nice to walk out with a few hundred, or I don't remember how much it was, but it was not the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow I thought it was going to be. And it's a shame that I was disappointed by that, because it was still like giving somebody, our kids had received bonds from relatives a few times. And my takeaway, or when they opened it, I'm like, oh, great. But it was still 50. Well, look, they gave my kids $50. I mean, that's not bad. That's still a nice gift. It's just,
and they locked it up so your kid couldn't spend it on an Xbox game. That's what my kids get, Xbox gift cards and stuff. It's a pain in the butt, but it's at least it's something that's going to be set aside for a minute.
Yeah, I think they get a bad rap, but it's still a pretty nice gesture. There's just there's some strings attached.
Well, the other thing I want to point out is that when you do cash it in, you're going to pay taxes on the amount of gain. That's interest income, so that's fully taxable at your ordinary income rate. If you use it in the year that you also pay tuition for college, you have an exclusion there on your tax return. So there is some timing things here that you might, if your kids are rounding into college or around college age and you're also paying tuition, or they're helping pay tuition when they cash it in, they're going to pay taxes unless there's also a tuition payment in there, college education, in which case you can say, oh, I used it for college.
But if it's in the kid's name and they make less than the minimum threshold for paying taxes, they're not paying tax on that interest.
Well, yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. Yeah. But a lot of times they don't have kids' social security numbers back that, so anyway.
Right.
Cool. Sounds great, Suzanne.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in, Suzanne. We will get you a code for your t-shirt where you can buy a Doug 2024 t-shirt. There's some other ones out there that are apparently kind of cool, but I mean, let's be
really
honest.
Buy them. We give them to you. You can select your Doug
Yeah, you can select.
t-shirt.
But really, have you got a choice? I mean, is there really a choice here? All right, we're going to do one more before we dive into our TikTok minute. And let's hear from Derek, who has a question about wills and trusts.
Hey, Joe, OG, and Doug. I'm starting to feel like a nuisance at this point, but I don't know how to cross the street without you guys. I've been looking at finally getting a will, and we met with a lawyer, and he mentioned a trust. He broke down the pros and cons, and I researched a bit on my own. Like, that never goes awry. And I saw people talking about a trust with $24 million in assets. Talk about stacking Benjamins. My stack is not nearly as high, and I'm wondering if there's a ballpark figure that should be met in order to jump from a will to a trust. I do have a child on the spectrum, although I don't know how much that matters in this scenario. Any help from the original G and Saul, C-High, is appreciated. I know I addressed the three of you, so if Doug can just tell me how to pronounce a word so I can mispronounce it intentionally, I think that satisfies all three addressees. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
I already hate this guy.
Sounds like a good dude to me.
Yeah, you guys love him.
Yeah.
Well, first he has to go down to the library.
Yes. Have some milk.
Oh, milk. I've got a friend who's from out west. He's from Washington. He says measure. They measure everything. If you have to measure a room.
Like right after captain, you get promoted to major.
Right. No, God, that would be better.
Right before lieutenant colonel.
That would be better, though. I could see just doing a soft J on major. But
my daughter says milk a little bit. It's a little Southern. She's got a little something.
She's got a whole lot of attitude is what that girl's got.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The other one that really is funny is pitcher. I want to take your pitcher.
Oh, right.
Oh, I don't have a water collection device around here, but I'm happy to acquire one for you if you need one. No, with my phone. I'm going to take your pitcher with my phone. Whew. You can do that at the library while I drink some milk.
That's going to explode. Can we just address the wills and trust thing? Because you just got me in a bad mood.
Can we talk about insurance? Okay. So wills and trusts, listen, estate planning is one of these things. It's an area of financial planning that is required to be discussed as per the CFP board. So dang it, you are required to do it. But it's one of these ones that's less exciting to do because, you're like, well, when I'm dead, here's what you're thinking about all of this not so fun stuff. But I don't want you to think about it that way. I want you to think about it instead of, what do I want to do in case something doesn't go my way? What do I want to have happen? Because estate planning isn't just like, I'm dead and I got this big bucket of money that's all tax efficient for all my heirs and they're all like Rockefellers. It's also things like, what if I can't make my medical decisions? I'm in an accident and somebody needs to decide this course of treatment. Who's the person they're going to go to for this? Or who have I decided in advance that I want that person to be? We go, well, certainly my wife would. Here's another great example for estate planning. That's part of that. When your child turns 18, you can't talk to the doctor anymore about your kid. So your kid goes off to college and they're have an issue or they're sick or they have an injury or something. And you call, hey, we can't.
It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah. You're like, it's my freaking kid.
Like,
so
look, I know he's 19, but he is not capable at all of making these decisions.
Have you
Trust me, I'm
him?
saving you from a lawsuit right now.
This is the same kid who couldn't tell gas from brake 18 months ago. And all of a sudden he's like, he's qualified to make healthcare and financial decisions. Are you kidding me? And that's true with financial decisions too. So maybe you're out of town and you need to have a financial transaction made. I remember one time I was trying to pay off my wife's car loan. So was when we were early married. She had a car loan at a credit union out of town. And I was in that town and I said, oh, this will be perfect. I'll just go in, transfer the money where we had talked about it. And I said, hey, how much is it? I just was ready to check. And they're like, we can't tell you. I said, I'm husband Bannerman. Nope, not your name. Sorry, can't do anything. It was super, I get it, right? It's just a normal transaction that I'm trying to do, but they're CYAing themselves. So estate planning has a lot more to do than just how do I set my family up like the Rockefellers? But in this case, he's talking about, I think, kind of thinking about the estate tax limit. So he's talking about $24 million, which is roughly the 2-person estate tax limit. So where am I going to start paying tax? Where are my heirs going to start paying taxes on my net worth when I die, and my family's net worth? And that number is $13 million this year. I think it's 13.6 actually. And then if you're married, you can kind of transfer that around so you can get to 26, 27 million. So a lot of people look at that and they say,
Yeah.
20, even on the best days, I'm not at 27 million. So, I'm good. But a trust is different than a will, because a will tells the court what you'd like to have done. A trust is a living document that extends beyond you. So for example, if you have a will and you pass away, your heirs and beneficiaries will go to court and they'll say, okay, here's all of OG's stuff. Here's what he said he wanted to do. Some people might say, oh no, I've got a different copy of that. He said he wanted to do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's might be some consternation. But anyway, the judge looks at it all. It's all public information. Judge looks at it and goes, all right, I believe that this is the correct document. And thus we're going to make this transaction. This person gets grandfather's clock. This one gets the watch. This one gets the cottage, so on and so forth. You've done, but it's all public and it's all out in the open. A trust is like your extension of yourself that continues after you die. So in the trust, you'd say, oh, when I pass away, I would like my assets to be in my trust. And I want my sister to be the trustee, the financial trustee who's in charge of the money. I want the beneficiaries of the trustee to be my son, but I don't want him at 18 to get a check for $1 million. I want him to go to college first. And if he graduates college, I'd like to give him $10,000, or I'd like to help him buy his house, or I don't want him to have this lump sum. I want to have some rules around it, just like you would normally do in your real life were you to still be alive during that time, right? And a lot of people look at it and say, well, this is, I was controlling from the grave and that sort of thing. I'm back to our original discussion about our 18-year-olds. Like, I think my kid's a pretty smart kid, but he also has no concept of anything in terms of like money or how hard it is to make, or, you know what I mean? Like, that's why sudden wealth is so crazy. People will have never had $1 million, or they've never had 10 million. All of a sudden they win the lottery and they have $25 million. They don't know how much that is. They don't know how much, in perspective, it's all the money in the universe. And we've all had that experience too, right? In terms of, when we first got jobs, oh my gosh, I'm making $8 an hour. My paycheck's $100.
Time to buy a new car.
Yeah. So notwithstanding the healthcare of your son, which could be an issue too, right? In terms of qualifications for benefits and that sort of thing. What you're doing by having a trust is you're keeping everything private. You're laying out in advance who's in charge of what, and what your wishes would be, assuming you're not around, how you'd like your money to be handled in trust of the people that you are trying to benefit in the future.
So one of the questions, maybe it was subtext, but one of the questions I heard, I think, because I've had this question before too, is, yeah, but if I only have when I die, if I only have 150,000, can I just say in my will, hey, divide it up equally and we're good? I don't need to pay a lawyer for a trust to set that up. Like, at what point, what's the breaking point where you probably got enough money, you want to set up this sort of virtual company that's going to blossom. It's just going to come into a being the moment you pass, this trust company. Because you've explained it like that before on the show, is that it's a little bit like a company that's there to manage your money. At what point does it make sense? Do I have enough to warrant that extra expense at the lawyer and a little bit of extra trouble to sort of stipulate all those rules?
Well, I think that firstly, if all of your assets are primarily financial instruments, bank accounts, brokerages, IRAs, that sort of thing, no matter what you do in your will and no matter what you do in your trust, the beneficiaries of those accounts supersede everything. So if your beneficiary says, I want all my money to go to my ex-girlfriend,
we just did that
the other day on the show. If you put that as a beneficiary, I don't care what kind of will trust, you'd be like, the beneficiary document will win every single day of the week.
And all of those financial instruments require you to stipulate a beneficiary when you're setting them up, right?
No, I mean, they don't require it. And There's no reason.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
All right.
they will ask you for it, but you don't have to put one on there.
It's not got a little red asterisk on the field on your computer that says you can't move forward without filling this out.
Maybe some of them do, but yeah, it's not required. It's
Okay.
and it's changeable, right? You can, just because you put in your wife the first time doesn't mean you can't put your girlfriend the second time.
Note to self.
Note to self. So in that case, when you're saying, hey, I've got 150K, it's in a brokerage account, I got a few knickknacks. Yeah, a will is fine. Really, I would think of a trust as when you've got other people that you need to care for. If you're like, I'm 75 years old, I've got two 40-year-old kids who are successful, I don't have a lot of money, I don't have, or need, and even if I do have a lot of money, I got one IRA, one brokerage account, and a paid for house. Do I need to have a trust? Well, maybe not. The benefit of a trust, not only that control and that discretion of keeping everything secret is interesting, but also it protects your money from the beneficiary's problems. So your beneficiary could have a divorce. The beneficiary could have an accident that causes, an injury to someone else, and they're getting sued. And if it's in a trust, it's not their money, right? To your point, it's another company. If it's in a trust, that's not my money. That's the trust money. Even though you're suing me for $1 million because I was in a car accident, you can take all my stuff. You can't take that. So there's some ancillary benefits there. But again, if it's a small dollar amount, and I don't know that there's a threshold of, well, if you have 500, you should do it, or $1 million, you should do it, or whatever. But if those are issues that are somewhat concerning, then I think it makes sense to consider it. Because you're right, from a cost standpoint, I mean, a lawyer's probably charging $4,000-$5,000, $6,000 maybe,
Yeah.
$3,000, somewhere in there, $3,000 to $6,000, I bet.
Yep.
For an estate plan, a full-on estate plan. And so some of those things you don't need, some of those things you can kind of piecemeal. Like I said, beneficiary is going to take everything, or kind of supersede everything. So it's like, you can just say, well, I've got 2 adult kids, they're wildly successful. This is such a small amount relative to their overall net worth that if it goes bye-bye because they're idiots, that's not my problem. And it's also not my concern. Just make it a beneficiary. But if you've got young children, you've got children who have health issues that may qualify for government aid of some kind, they're maybe not sophisticated enough to keep track of your $1 million IRA. They're too young, or they're, that's not their specialty or something like that. They've got other issues like their spouse is crazy, or, whatever. Like, it may make sense to look at the trust because it keeps that protected for your family.
It feels a little bit like, writing that check for $6,000, which, by the way, was the heavily discounted price on mine. So I don't know what the actual price is commonly, but my lawyer said he was giving me a huge discount for that money. But
sounds like something lawyers would say.
Yeah. Well, I'm giving you the friends and family discount.
Oh, this is the friends and family discount. Normally it's 10, but we're not going to down to 6.
Right.
Big D.
But it feels a little bit like you're paying for insurance, because that's a big check to write for a lot of people, right? And you don't see anything from it right away. But you've just got to go with that mentality of it's the right thing to do, and it offers me some peace of mind in the eventuality that something happens, either next week when I'm crossing the street, or, in 50 years.
Good stuff, Maynard. I like these Q&As.
Yeah, God, I don't, there are weeks when we don't have any call-ins. All of a sudden, we've got so many we can't air them all. But that good news is that we can save a couple. And if you don't hear yours on air in this episode, there's a good chance it's going to be coming up in a future episode. But we might need to put the urgent call out on Facebook more often, because these are fantastic. Before we get to any more calls, though, we have to do our Wednesday tradition, which is the TikTok Minute. And OG, we have one that I think is especially, there's another word, especially. There's another one.
Oh, supposedly,
yeah. Especially now in wedding season, I think this TikTok Minute is very timely. So let's listen to this. Oh, wait. I got to ask. Is it brilliant?
Oh, trash. No, it's trash.
You hear wedding and you immediately think, no, this sucks.
No, I hear TikTok and I hear trash.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Okay, here we go.
Hi, invitees to the wedding. After much reflection and tear-filled conversation with our closest family members, we've decided to cancel our upcoming winter wedding. We will further notify this group when we are in a better place to reschedule. We thank each and every one of you for your generous early donations to our money fund. Can you believe that we have raised over $30,000? Unbelievable. Don't worry, the money you've donated will not be spent in vain, but rather used toward a honeymoon in the coming months. After we regain financial stability and hold calm in our hearts after a honeymoon, we will announce a new wedding date and reopen our money fund for any further gifts. Weddings are expensive. We are blessed to have generous family members who gave us these large donations. It will help offset honeymoon costs and to scale an even...
What a psychotic person.
Oh, it gets so much better. Like if you listen to the
Oh, is this still going on?
Yeah, it goes on for like another 5 minutes. But what I love so
this far without you. Please stay tuned. In the meantime, I'll be updating our gift fund registry on Amazon if anyone would like to give us something to take on a honeymoon. If you have any ideas on where we can go, please PM me or Edward. As mentioned, we will keep you updated when we are reopening our money fund and have a new wedding date in the works. Don't be too sad. The new wedding is gonna be a hit. Love you, Pam. The fact that they even raised that much money is insane to me. So here,
I can't do anymore.
Yeah, I know it. Kill it. But then the responses from the family members and from friends are like, are you serious? You raised 30 grand. That's an amazing number. And you're going to use it to go on a honeymoon before you get married. And don't worry, we're going to give you an opportunity to give us even more later when we are getting ready to really
self-inflicted.
Oh, 100%.
You cannot be mad about this. If you decide, if someone sends me an email, because you know it's not coming on stationary.
Right.
If somebody sends me an email like, hey, I'm getting married, would you like to donate to my thing? First of all, I would like literally, oh my God, Becky. I would literally block them.
Oh my God, Becky. But this is the thing now.
What the heck? What is going on with? Is this?
This is it now, though, and a lot of people are totally good with it. They're like, "Look, look, we didn't really balk when there was a wedding registry before, and it was, this is our China pattern, and these are what we want for sheets and stuff. I mean, that was a normal thing for like the 80s and 90s and early 2000s. We didn't have nobody bristled. Maybe they did it first, but to my knowledge, when it comes time, like, okay, thanks. Now I don't have to guess. I didn't have to figure out what bedspread to get you. I just know.
Right.
And if I want to choose it.
Fondue set.
Right. Which we have and have used 3 times. But imagine when that first got started, I'm sure people were like, are you kidding me? You're just telling me what to buy you. That seems a little bit gauche. And now we've just transitioned to just give me the money. It doesn't feel right to me either, but it is becoming the norm. But here's what's not the norm. I don't think
this is the norm.
You don't think it's the norm? It's pretty common.
I don't think so.
I think it is. But here's what's I don't think sits well with anybody is, A, she got 30 grand. She told everybody how much they got. That is a giant sum of money from just your gift registry. But then it's like, we're going to spend some of it so you can then top us back off again when we're getting ready to get married. That is infuriating. And all of the comments that come after that are, she is just getting roasted and she doesn't back down. She does not see the error of her ways. It's a whole, there's ups, there's downs. It's like a novel in the comments section. And I wish we could play it all.
I've decided that everything on the internet is meant to raise ire.
Oh, okay.
Meaning,
I know what ire means. You don't have to define it for me.
I think that everyone posts stuff in order to get a reaction. My guess is that this is all staged. This is how I'm going to keep myself sane. It's all make believe.
He's closing his eyes right now. He's going into his Zen happy place. He's centering.
I'm centering myself. This is the most crazy thing I've ever heard of.
I know it. I know
get
it. Yeah.
Okay. I need some sanity. Let's go back to our normal.
We're going to get back to our calls. All right. So thank you, Internet, for providing us unending entertainment. But let's get back and hear from a stacker, Ethan, who has a question about 529s.
Hey, Joe and OG and neighbor Doug. I have a 3-month-old son and a 2-year-old daughter, so we're a little tired around here. But my daughter has a 529, 2-year-old has a 529 with about 5,000 in it. And the 3-month-old has nothing yet. I'm just wondering, should I just make that 529 with 5,000 the family education trust fund and just sort of ignore the fact that it's got my daughter as the beneficiary and just be able to change it? Or do you think it's beneficial to open up a separate account specifically? And how would you think about that if my goal is to help with college, but I don't plan to pay for it fully. My financial independence is a higher priority because, they get the groceries. So thanks.
Screw those kids. Me is more important.
Yeah. Well, look, when you're on an airplane, they tell you to put your own mask on first before the kids.
That's right.
They're pretty much setting the stage for all your decisions in life.
That's the standard. I think when it comes to 529 plans, from an efficiency standpoint, it seems probably easier to just have one account where you're putting money into it and change stuff. The problem will happen when it comes time to change that. So, number one, you can only change the beneficiary once per 12 months. So, if you have two kids going to school at the same time, which you would in theory with a 2-year-old and a baby, it's going to be a little more challenging to manage that timing of who's getting what distribution and whose name is on the account at what time, even if it's like, well, just halvesies. The other problem that you run into is what happens if the first one uses all the money, right? Like you just, for whatever reason, like that's just how that worked out. Then what do you do for the second? Doug, you know this, you've got two boys who are athletic and competitive, I'm sure, with each other. And
I made them fight it out.
my kids ask how much is in each one of their accounts. Like they're old enough to know that we save money, and they're like, well, how much is in my account? How come he has more? How come he has less? You know what I mean? Like they're aware of it, and yeah, that's our doing, right? Because we're trying to show them what we have saved and why we do it and all this other sort of stuff. But they're like, why does Caroline have almost as much as us? And I'm like, well, because I like her more, obviously. Right. It's just,
You need me to do the math for you, boys?
Wait till you see the trust. It's so, if it costs money to have another account, like if there's an annual fee or something like that, maybe there is a few extra dollars, then, that might change the math on this. The other thing to think about is with the new tax laws, the new Secure 2.0, if you've had a 529 open for 15 years and you don't use all the money, you can transfer some of those excesses to a Roth IRA for the beneficiary in that account. It hasn't been decided yet, or, there hasn't been some tax ruling on what happens if I want to transfer some to one kid and then change the beneficiary and transfer some to the other. That no one's done that yet to see what they say about it. Basically, there's no court case on it, so to speak. So that's another reason, if you're like, well, what if my kid goes to trade school or joins the Marine Corps or whatever and doesn't need this money? It's like, well, you can use it for retirement. You can turn it into a Roth, or you can change the beneficiaries to their kids' names in the future to make it be a, kind of a family tree type money.
I'm going to interrupt you. Did you use a bad example there, OG, which has never happened before? So I think the answer to this is probably no, Doug, you're being an idiot. But you said trade school. It was my understanding that you could use 529s for a whole bunch of different types of educational purposes, not just the traditional state or private university.
Yeah, I guess what I meant to say was, like, a lot of trade schools are more internships and apprenticeships, and that's kind of how you pay for it. My brother-in-law is a pipe fitter welder guy, and the majority of the cost was borne by him working inexpensively for a period of time. Like, that's how he earned his license or whatever was. I'm sure there was some cost to it. You're right. You can use it for that. I'm thinking in terms of out-of-pocket costs versus
maybe for tools or something if you have to. But so that was a really long way of saying you're right, Doug.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But that's really what it boils down to, right?
Sure. Whatever makes you happy.
Okay. Let's move on.
Yeah. So I think I would rather have one account for each kid. I think for a lot of reasons, it's not going to cost anything extra. It's easy to see who's doing what as the kids grow up, and you can figure out like which one's the smart one. You can kind of adjust those contributions, to go like, well, I know which one's not going to college. So yeah, I think I'd go with 2. There's no harm in that. Plus it gives people a place to, you can set up a thing like the TikTok lady did and be like, I'm trying to fund my kid's college. Here's the 529 account.
Oh, you give more opportunities for giving.
Yes. So I think I'm going to stick with 529s for each kid. Gives you more flexibility. Doesn't really cost anything extra to be able to do that. Now we are going to transition to the, I don't know, what do most people say? This is their least favorite part of the show. What do most people usually say? Least?
Well, I don't know. It certainly gets the most fan mail.
Mm-hmm. It's mail, all right. I wouldn't call it fan mail per se.
I didn't say what the contents of the letter were, but
a bunch of magazine letters cut out. Please
I
stop.
don't like where this is
Doug.
going. I'm just going to start talking now. Hey there, stackers. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug. This day in 1984 was a dark day in U.S. history. It's the day the national minimum drinking age was raised from 18 to 21. I mean, imagine how frustrating that was for everyone who had just gotten a fake ID saying they're 18. I still have my fake ID. My old fake ID. I bought it downtown in Dallas for like $400. I paid more to get it customized because, yeah, I still have all the details memorized. My name was Bruce Wayne. I was 6'1", 200 lean fighting pounds. I lived at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Texarkana, and my birthday was 6/9/69. It's got to be the best fake ID I've ever made. I framed it. That reminds me, when I first moved here, I gave everyone Joe's mom's phone number and address so I could use it as a sort of screening process for anyone trying to contact me. I didn't plan on telling her, but eventually had to one day when I had kegs and party equipment delivered to her house. She was about to send it back when I saw the delivery guys leaving and ran right over there to clear the whole mix-up up. That was a pretty close call, but I forgave her for it because I'm a great neighbor. Today's trivia question is, what is the most popular beer among millennials? Millennials, not zennials. Millennials. I'll be back right after I get the water out of my Crocs.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
Did you know Fast Growing Trees is America's largest and most trusted online nursery with thousands of trees and plants and over 2 million happy customers? Whether you're planting fruit trees, adding privacy, brightening things up with flowers, or bringing in houseplants, Fast Growing Trees has it all. Even better, they can help you find options that are right for your climate, your space, and lifestyle. Click Order Grow. Every plant arrives healthy with the Alive and Thrive guarantee straight to your door. So if you're ready to get planting, this is the moment. Right now, they have great deals on spring planting essentials, up to half off on select plants. And listeners to our show get 20% off their first purchase when using the code WWO at checkout. That's an additional 20% off. Better plants and better growing at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code WWO at checkout. Fastgrowingtrees.com, code WWO. Now's the perfect time to plant. Let's grow together. Use WWO to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions apply. Go to growingfasttrees.com for details.
Hey there, stackers. I'm Texarkana's hostess with the mostest and alter ego creating genius, Joe's mom's neighbor, Bruce Wayne. Although the National Minimum Drinking Age Act went into effect in 1984, it wasn't until 1988 that all states finally complied. The punishment to each state for not enforcing the new law was a 10% loss of federal highway funds. Heck, for 10% of Texas's federal highway funds, I'll stop drinking. Today's trivia question was, what is the most popular beer among millennials? The answer, ranking fourth most popular overall in the U.S. behind Guinness, Corona, and Heineken. According to drinksbusiness.com, Blue Moon is the number one selling beer among those born between 1981 and 1996. You know, my peers. And now, back to Big D and OG. What do you think, OG? I mean, A, Blue Moon, you buying it?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
We've got to disabuse you of that habit.
Blue Moon. It's an okay beer. What's the subject matter? What are we talking
The
about?
number
Beer?
one selling, seriously, dude, the number one selling beer among millennials
Okay.
is Blue Moon. You good with it?
Seems like a stretch, but okay.
I agree. It's just from drinksbusiness.com. So I think it's highly unlikely. It sounds like an official government entity. I don't think they're taking money from
You
anybody.
think that's a paid advertisement sponsored by Blue Moon?
Right. And let's talk for a second about your fake ID. How did that go for you? Because you have never missed an opportunity to talk about how much younger you are than Joe and I. So what was the fake ID situation like when you were at that point in your life?
So mine never worked for anything. The one that I made for a friend of mine worked really well because he had a beard. Also, he was very likable, and I think the 7-Eleven guy was just like, yeah, whatever. It's just a bunch of kids, not getting in trouble. So that worked out fine. The military ID seemed to work really well because it just had a bunch of stuff on there that just looked really super official, and it was written. The military likes to write their dates jacked up with the year first, and that old way of doing it. So like you took like a decoder ring to figure out what the hell it even said. It was like, oh yeah, I'm in the military. They're like, oh well, hey, yeah,
right, yeah, because you figure anybody in the military.
That's the screwed up thing, right? It's like you can go like do a bunch of stuff for Uncle Sam and come home and not be able to have a beer. I don't get that. Although to be honest, again, back to 18-year-olds, my 18-year-old he's 17 now. He don't need to be drinking beer at 18. There's no doubt about that.
You don't think he can handle his hooch?
I'm sure he cannot, but decision making is pretty weak at 18, I think. So
you think?
Yeah, it's 19 and 20 and 21 and 26
right.
and 34.
Right. It is, frankly,
basically everybody younger than you are today are a bunch of idiots. That's what I've decided. Look at all those idiots.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, our fake ID situation back in my day was astoundingly easy in Michigan anyways. First of all, I didn't really need one because I'm not stretching the truth much to say I looked mostly like this when I was in high school. I had a little patch of gray in the front of my hair and everything. And I worked at this store where everybody was older than me. We had to wear ties. We had to kind of dress up a little bit. And there was a drugstore right next to us that sold beer. And we would just go over there and get beer like after work on our break. You just buy breaks, whatever, food.
On your break. Yeah.
Buy beer on the break.
Lunch.
Yes, that happened. But so because everybody else, looked older and I was just with them, I didn't get carded there very often. But it was still so incredibly easy in Michigan back then because our driver's licenses, A, they didn't rotate them back then like they do now. And B, I don't know if they were like this when you were younger in Michigan, but they were this matte finish and the background was kind of flesh color, like whatever that call that.
Mine was blue, but it was laminated, like old school laminated with a picture that was stuck on it. So you could like literally just swap out the picture.
Oh, I don't even remember
skilled
those.
Enough. Yeah. Well, if you were skilled enough with a X-Acto blade, you could, we
didn't even have to go that far. So because it was this matte finish and the background color was kind of that taupe, I don't know what you call that color, pinkish, off-white.
Flesh tone.
We would just take foundation makeup from, your mom or whatever. And by the way, all of the printing on it was dot matrix. So you would just, if you were born in 68, you would just use the little bit of makeup and cover up the left side of the 8 and you were 63 immediately. Or if you were 69, you would just cover that part up and then use a pencil to add in the tail of the 2 and you were born in 62. It was so easy to make a fake ID back then manually, no X-Acto knives needed. I didn't need to use it that often, once in a while, but everybody did it just because you wanted to. Nowadays, it's even easier. Kids are just going online, typing in who they want to be, Bruce Wayne, and they get an ID that shows up for not much money, like $25 or something, and they've got a perfect looking.
I feel
ID.
like this is something we should not be advocating on the Stacking Benjamin.
You think there's a lot of 18-year-olds listening to us right now that are getting ideas from how to get a good fake ID?
I hear what you're saying. You're saying as adults, we should be aware that kids can do this.
That's it. We're teaching the parents how to recognize.
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember when all the texting slang was out and it was like, if you're looking over your shoulder, parent over shoulder.
Oh, right.
Be right back. That's what BRB means. It's like the whole like national campaign of like, this is what all those letters mean that your kids are texting.
How to tell if your kid's an arms dealer for a rogue nation.
Yeah. With little texting things.
Right. Right. Hey, let's get back to our callers because we still have several to get through. Let's hear from our next caller. It's Katie, who has some questions about selling her house and student loans.
Hi, Joe and OG. It's Katie again. I called a while back on an episode that also featured Gene Chatsky. I don't remember the exact number. My husband is now a physician, and we had to move to Philadelphia for his residency from Maine, which required us to sell our house because we did not want to be landlords. Luckily, the sale of that home gave us about $100,000 profit once everything was all said and done with closing costs. Our rent here is only about $2,000 a month, and we have 2 paid off cars and expect our expenses to remain around $3,000 a month. I have about $87,000 in Vanguard with VTI VTSAX and about $8,000 in HSA from my prior job. My husband has been in medical school, so these are my contributions to our retirement fund. We're wondering what to do with this windfall of money. Do we hold on to it until I can find a job? I have about $11,000 left of my student loans. Do I just pay those off and be done with it? My husband hopes that in 10 years he will qualify for PSLF, so we're making the minimum payments on his student loans now, as they are large as a physician. So what do we do with this money? Do we put the whole lump sum in Vanguard? Do we wait until I have a job? Kind of feels weird just having it sitting in savings. And also, since I know you guys are both from that state up north, go Buckeyes.
And deleted. Okay, next question.
Wow. We've made a horrible error. You're really going to do it.
Okay.
You really just want to move on to the next question.
Who else is on the list? Can probably find another one. What was the I don't remember what the record was. The score was. Anyways, I'm sure somebody can look it up. The things with the stuff. I didn't come here to play school. I came here to play football. Oh, says Cardell Jones. Anyways.
Come on. Be nice.
All right, fine. Be nice. Be nice. Katie wasn't nice, but I'll be nice.
She woke up and chose violence.
Yeah, I think so. So first of all, congratulations on career progression, getting the internship, residency, I guess is a better way to say that. Sucks to have to move from Maine to Philly, although Philly's cool. Philly's a cool town. It's no Maine, but it's a cool town. Some history there, I've heard. Somebody broke a bell some years ago. And last week we learned that that was the reading of the Declaration of Independence was the first place.
That's right. That's right.
Philadelphia.
President Nixon did it.
Yes, one of them. I don't know if it was him. So the question is, I've got this money, I've got some debt, I've got some financial goals. What's the order of priorities here? Like, how should we do this? I think that if you have any consumer debt or student loan debt, that really needs to be a priority. Cars are paid for, it sounds like, no credit cards. So Katie's got her student loans. I think she said $11,000. I like having those paid off. I would advocate paying off as much as we could for husbands. I understand maybe he qualifies for a loan forgiveness program, so maybe just kind of hold that in reserve. So maybe what I would do is firstly, make sure that your emergency fund is topped off. If you're managing your expenses well, you think it's going to be $3,000 a month. Maybe I like to have $30,000 in high yield savings, maybe $3,000, $6,000 in your checking account. That's kind of a good, really, really good, fully funded emergency fund, I think. I would like to pay off the student loans. I know there's some argument there of like, well, what if the interest rate is a little bit low? I don't know. I like paying off Katie's student loans. Student loans suck. Basically anything you have to pay payments on sucks. It just sucks. So I'd pay those off. And the rest of it, if you're thinking, well, maybe some of this could be used for another house down payment in the future, or, if there's some student loans that aren't forgiven, if your time frame on that is greater than 5 years, I heard you say 10 for the public student loan forgiveness program, then I would invest the money. I think investing it for a 10-year period and then reevaluating what the loan balance is on the student loans, if you're not able to forgive some of those, that might be a good option. If you know how long the residency is going to be, probably 3-4 years, and then you're moving again. So there's probably not, maybe you're not moving, but kind of a transition at that point. So maybe you've got a 3 to 5 year time horizon before you're settled and buying another home or thinking about buying another home. I like that in terms of the time frame of getting the money invested, just lump sum it in. It was lump summed into, this is the way I think about it. It was lump summed into the equity of real estate, 6 months ago, right? It was one single investment. Now just make it a diversified investment, invest it, pay off some debt, build up the cash reserve, dump the rest in the market, have it done by nightfall.
Have it done by nightfall? What are we in the Old West?
In a fortnight. No, you can't say have it done by nightfall.
I don't know.
You might as well. Well, why drag it out, right? The money's just sitting in your account. Like click, 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 transfer, pay, done, boom, boom. Go out to dinner. Do that. Find a nice restaurant. Go spend a couple $100 on a nice meal, whatever your pleasure. Seafood, steak, maybe have a martini.
Lobster.
In Pennsylvania, I think.
They're still in Maine.
She says she's in Pennsylvania.
Oh, they're already in Pennsylvania? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that I would be eating. If I was from Maine, I don't know that I'd be ordering lobster in Pennsylvania.
That might not a great idea, but a Philly cheesesteak, one of the good ones. I hear there's like two
interesting
places.
Date night. Yeah. Yeah, you could do that. Anyways, pay off your debt. If you're okay with the husband's student loan debt because you've got a plan or you think that the plan will work out, that's great. Be okay with the fact that if it doesn't work out the way that you hope, you've got 10 years of this investment growing, that maybe that's what it's used for at that point. Or another house down payment in the future. But pay off the loan, build up the cash reserve, dump the money in, go out to dinner, get a cheesesteak. I like that.
Get a cheesesteak. That's some of the best advice we've had. Hey, we got to move because we've still got one more caller to get to today. And that is Austin, maybe the whole city, I don't know, who has a question about fire. Sounds like he might have called the wrong number. Should have called 911. But he called us.
I was thinking, it's about the temperature of Austin right now. It's like, how hot is it? It's fire. Yeah. Interestingly, I was having this discussion with my brother the other day. I have a weather station in my backyard. And apparently, the official temperature is taken in the shade at chest level. That's the official, it's not like in the sun where you would be if you were outside. It's like you have to go into the shade, and then that's the official temperature.
Everywhere, or just in places that are hotter than the surface of the sun?
No, apparently that's the official temperature is in the shade, and that's where the heat index temperature is taken also.
Everywhere.
You can imagine that's the official way to do it. Huh. Because I guess maybe not everywhere has sun all the time. So you can always have shade, but you can't always have sun.
Okay.
I don't know. But to me, it seems like if you're going to measure the temperature, you go, hey, how hot is it? You go outside, and wherever you happen to be when you go, how hot is it? That's the temperature. You don't have to be like, well, hold on, let me find a tree. Okay, is this? Yeah, okay, we're in shade. Now, because when you are outside, sometimes you're in the sun. I think you should. Anyways, my weather center is in the sun, and the other day, the heat index was 121.
Nice. In
the sun. It was, I'm not sure the surface of the sun temperature, but it's close to that.
It's within an allowable variation.
So Austin, Dallas, similar climate. So he might be asking a weather question.
Hey, Joe and OG. This is Austin from Minnesota. I keep telling my wife, I think eventually I'm going to learn something from listening to you guys. So I'm calling in again to see if we can finally move the needle on some things. So here it goes. I think we're coast fire. And I know you guys love this subject, but we have $575,000 in investments. I'm 30 years old. My wife's 28. Those investments are about $250,000 tax deferred, 170 Roth, 150 taxable. We spend about $75,000 a year. Our income right now is about $240,000, but it's potentially going to change with potential looking at going down to one income and things like that in the future with kids. And I'm wondering, are we coast fire? Should we keep contributing? If so, how much? Are the assumptions around coast fire regarding rate of return, rate of withdrawal, inflation, things like that? Like, what is realistic? I don't want to be overly conservative or overly liberal. I just kind of want to get a baseline for where we're at and where we're understanding. We save a lot, and we're trying to spend some money in other areas of life that might not go into investments. Like, we save over 30% in a good year, but I'm wondering if we can back off on that. Because, if things get really comfortable, I could think about taking Doug to the Sizzler or something like that. I want to help you guys out for helping me out. Anyways, you all have a great day, and appreciate asking the question.
And scene. You have reached the maximum amount of words.
We've heard quite enough from Austin.
It's time to be done. Oh, a Sizzler gift card. That might be sent to the Big D at stackingbenjamins.com.
Much appreciated. Coast
Fire. Golly. Oh, just like this. As I look at my phone, excessive heat warning for Texas. Hey, who knew? Apparently, 121 will do that. So I guess Coast Fire, and I'm going to mess up the terminology here, but I'm figuring it out. I guess that means that you've saved enough that you don't have to save anymore and you can let your money just keep growing and then you're good sometime in the future.
That's how I would interpret it, or at least back off on your savings rate to be a little less aggressive. Which I think is kind of the nature of his question.
I heard fired 500,000. I was like, whoa, right. I don't think so, bro.
Right.
But that's not that okay. So I think this is an important thing when it comes to planning, especially for great savers, great income earners. As much as you can, as early as you can, save as much as you can. It's like you have all this opportunity, and what you're trying to do is build in flexibility for the future. I don't know what Austin's plan is in terms of retirement time and that sort of thing, but he said he's spending what, $75,000 a year? Is that give or take what you heard? Yeah. I heard $75K. He's 30 years old. Let's say that he's going to work until he's like a normal 65-year-old or maybe a normal 60-year-old. That's 30 years away, right? He's been alive for 30 years. He's got another 30 to go. And then he's going to retire and be fully retired for the 30 on the back end. If we just add inflation for 30 years on $75,000, $75K in 30 years from now is $185,000 at 3% inflation. Well, right now it's like 3.5. 2 years ago it was 9, so maybe 3 is a conservative number. But if you're using those rules of thumb, those back of the envelope calculations and saying, okay, cool, how much do I need to have to be able to pull 185K out of my portfolio? We talk about a 4% rule, or people talk about a 4% rule. I don't like these rules of thumb, but it gives you a ballpark. If you need to pull 185K out, add inflation to it every year for the rest of your life, you need a portfolio of about $4.5 million. So the question is, does 500K sitting in an account right now equal $4.5 million in 30 years? I don't know. Let's take a look.
Without ever touching it in the ensuing years between now and then.
Yeah, without touching it. So what he would have to achieve over the entirety of that 30 years is roughly a 7.5% rate of return compounded for the next 30 years. Seems pretty doable, right? That's in the ballpark. S&P does 10. Maybe you don't average the S&P. You have some diversification. Maybe there's some good years and then some not so good years. You got to factor in taxes on some of that brokerage account money. So 7.5 seems pretty reasonable. But at this point, it seems to me that you're giving up all of your future flexibility by letting off the gas today. Because everything has to work exactly perfectly for you to hit this number, right? If you average 7% for 30 years instead, now your portfolio is off by $500,000. You're short by 12% of your goal. Is that okay of a dispersion? What if you only average 6.5? What if you need to have a medical expense and you have to make a withdrawal out of your portfolio in 5 years from now? You know what I mean? Like you're not giving yourself a lot of margin of safety. There's a great book. You can never find it. It's out of print. Every place that has a copy will only let you look at it in the place that the copy exists. So that's how rare this book is. Yes, it's called The Margin of Safety. It's a book by Seth Klarman.
Wow.
And I suspect you can probably get a reprint on Amazon these days. I'm sure there's some company that's plagiarized it and turned it into buy it on Amazon. But the original book and the whole concept, it's around investing and investment modeling. But the idea is build in yourself enough margin of safety that you can be wrong. Tony Robbins wrote a financial book with some planning people some years ago, and it got some press and some love and some hate. But one of the things I was listening to him talk the other day on a podcast, and he was talking about this, and he said that the traders try to achieve a 5-to-1 risk to reward number, right? Like if I'm going to invest $5 or I'm going to invest $1, I'm trying to get 5 because on occasion I might get 3, on occasion I might get 2, on occasion I might lose money. But if my goal is to get 5, it gives me a lot of margin for those ones that don't play out, right? I can have one deal that's successful and 4 other deals that aren't. I'm still making money. And so when I look at planning and I look at people who are in a position financially to save and invest, my concern about letting off the gas a little too early is you're not giving yourself enough margin of safety. Like, imagine if for the next 4 years, you just kept your foot on the gas, you kept on saving 30% of your, $250,000 income. Your money goes from 500K to $1 million, and now you're 33 or 34. Where does that trajectory go? All of a sudden, now you're so far out past the breakers, it's totally fine. If there's some fluctuation in the, you're good. You've given yourself enough safety there. So I think mathematically it's probably fine. But my guess is life will happen sometime over the next 30 years, and you'll go, dang, I'm like hanging on by a thread now. I kind of want to do something. This is a great benefit for everybody who's like young listening about investing and starting and stuff, how much should I do and all this. The power of time is unbelievable. This guy's got $500,000, which is good money, but it's not retirement money. It's good. And if he literally didn't save another dollar, he's going to land somewhere in the $3.5 to $4.5 to $5 million range. Think about how crazy that is. All of his savings until 30. And by the time he's 60, he's got 3.5, 4.5, $5 million. That's insane. At this point, though, for him, I would really like to see just a little bit more margin there to give yourself some flexibility. We talk to a lot of people every week, and one of the common themes is this letting off the gas thing, right? Like, hey, 2 incomes, one spouse wants to stay home with the kids or take a part-time job to, have a little bit more family time, or I want to spend a little bit more. I want to enjoy some of the success that I'm having. You get the opportunity to do that the more margin that you build. And so if you don't have something committed to right now, right, if you're like, well, maybe I should keep going, because eventually you'll get to that spot. I talk to people all the time, and my favorite thing to do is to sit down and figure out what that savings rate needs to be to kind of keep that margin, keep that safety net, if you will, and be able to do those other fun things. And I feel like, Austin, where you're at right now, maybe you're just a smidge too close to the edge, if that makes sense. Maybe just a little bit more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So enjoy the fact that you may have at least gotten to a threshold now that you're in great shape, but you're not out of the woods. Keep pushing a little bit more, maybe back off a little bit on that savings rate of 30%, but not much. I think that's what I hear you saying. Keep at it.
Yeah. If you have some committed projects, right? If you're like, well, no, next year we want to go to Italy with the family, and instead of saving 60 grand, we're going to save 30 and spend 30 on this trip. Like, cool, do that. That's fine. You've got a committed thing. But if you're just like trying to grasp at things because you go, well, I think I'm good, maybe I should try to find some other stuff to do, why bother? Trust me, if you have kids, they're going to grow up and you're going to go, I need to be at home. Or you're going to say, I really want to do this trip with my family, or I want to, help this organization that I really care about. Like, something will slap you in the face. You don't have to try to go find it. It'll be there.
That's right. It'll
it
drive into your living room.
Will drive right through the garage. It'll show up right in your lap. I'm home. And that's the gift that keeps on giving: insurance premiums.
Insurance.
But we've got clients who have had job offers that, was move closer to family, but lower income. So it's going to change their savings rate, go from 2 income to 1. Can I take that job? Like, that's a thing that you want to have the flexibility to go, oh, wow, I can consider this. Most people wouldn't say, oh, I have a $250,000 a year job. Let me go entertain this $100,000 job. That's not a thing that most people consider doing, but you can do that if it provides some family utility and personal utility, if you've got that reserve, that excess built up. So if you've got the flexibility right now to continue to save, I would just hammer. You will not be mad that all of a sudden you're financially independent at 50. You know what I mean? And your boss comes in and goes, hey, we got to let you go. You're like, cool, see you, bye.
Yeah, right.
You want that level of flexibility, or the cross-country move, or the spouse that works part-time to be with the kids more, or whatever. So give yourself the opportunity to have the flexibility in the future.
Yep, I like it. OG, normally this is the point of the show where we would head to the back porch and drink a couple of beers, but I feel like we've been on the back porch throughout this episode. Had a great time talking about fake IDs,
Yes.
weather stations, all kinds of other stuff. So I think we're just gonna
wrap.
I think it might be time to wrap.
Like zip it, Doug and OG. Oh,
just like that. Can you do more of that?
No, you were making fun of me. So let's go in the Wayback Machine. Now that we're in the Wayback Machine, and I understand you meant rap as in WRAP. Hey, Doug, what should we have taken away from today?
Well, OG, here's what we should do based on what we learned today. First, wondering if it's worth it to establish a will and trust, even if you don't think you have a bank account like a Walton. The answer is yes. It may cost you a little now, but consider it an insurance protecting your family from financial headaches later. Second, think you may have enough savings to be qualified to join the Coast Fire community? Well, first of all, I don't think they're going to let you in the club until you talk about it while you're doing CrossFit. But financially, if you've got $500,000 in the bank and can let it sit there untouched for 30 years, yeah, maybe. But you'd be counting on everything working perfectly. Maybe think twice before letting off the savings gas pedal. But the biggest to-do? I got to ask Joe's mom if she's gotten any important emails for me. I've been using her email address as a spam filter. Thanks to all of our amazing stackers who called in with questions today. The only thing we like better is when you send us a 12-pack of your favorite regional IPA. Keep those coming. This show is the property of SB Podcasts, LLC, copyright 2024, and is created by Joe Saul-Sehy. Joe gets help from a few of our neighborhood friends. You'll find out about our awesome team at stackingbenjamins.com, along with the show notes and how you can find us on YouTube and all the usual social media spots. Come say hello. Oh yeah, and before I go, not only should you not take advice from these nerds, don't take advice from people you don't know. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Before making any financial decisions, speak with a real financial advisor. I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug, and we'll see you next time back here at the Stacking Benjamin Show.